to see all of your faces. I feel so much happiness and pride to be here gathering those who gather in my home every week to birth new poetry, prose, vision, and beauty, and to make a community space where we love and mother each other through that process, and midwife the work. Every week, new amazing things happen. So it is Mother's Day, which is a complex annual tradition of our culture. I want to first off thank Malvern Books and its stalwart and inspiring leaders and staff for making this beautiful space for poetry. Poetry has about this much space in the world, and it is completely outside of any money economy, essentially. So the fact that Malvern makes this place for writers to come and be honored for the craft in this like ancient cabin style stage, sacred space is really special. So thank you, Malvern. And of course, feel free to browse their collection of unique avant-garde books and chapbooks you will find nowhere else on the planet. And let's all take out our phones. If you want to take a selfie with your next door neighbor here and then post it poetry to your social media, you can. But let's turn these off. My phone always goes off during the workshop to remind me that everyone should have their phone. Okay, so yeah, mothering is both a noun and a verb, and today we are honoring the women that we came from, and also honoring ourselves for all the mothering we do of ourselves and the world. This verb is perhaps patriarchally confined usually in our minds to the physical act of creating and birthing another human, which is in itself miraculous and an incredible thing. Thank you to all the mothers in the audience who have actually birthed human beings, made them. And we are also talking about unmothering, lost mothers, mothers who couldn't mother, Mother Earth, the ways that she cares for us and we must care for her. And also a lot of things that it will be a surprise. So I want to just open by invoking the fact that you can make any poem or piece of writing about your mother or a mother simply by adding a line. So I'm going to alter the great poem, The Art of the Possible by Kenneth Koch, by adding a line. Vanishing is impossible. Lasting is impossible. Instantly knowing Spanish is impossible. Living in the midst of 10,000 panes of glass is impossible. Being both your mother and your daughter is impossible, except in art. Art is the art of the possible. Thank you to all of you. And let me invite Angel.
Did not know I was going to be going first today.
That's right. We're going to talk about that. We'll introduce the next person on that list.
No, it's great. It's great. I woke up late. I didn't eat breakfast, but I'm here.
Yay!
And I'm really happy to be here, and I'm really honored and grateful that my family is here, especially my stepmother, Karen, who has raised me with so much love, and as well my sweet nieces who are here as well. And my papa, who also mothered me, as well as father. So this is about my mom, who passed away when I was 7. You can tell a lot about who someone is by what they love, by their taste, by what they collect and are drawn to. Material objects can be powerful emblems of identity and memory. I inherited many beautiful things from my mother, and with them her appreciation of these treasures, of what made them special. My mother's aesthetics were refined, unusual, and very specific. She truly tried to live by the William Morris maxim, have nothing in your possession which you do not know to be useful or believe to be beautiful, and therefore could not abide the presence of cheap junk, broken things, or anything she considered to be tacky in her house. Many of my toys disappeared while I slept, relegated to the dustbin or a heap of charity shop exiles. I was only allowed 2 Barbies, and it was determined that they must be multicultural. So I had tea parties with Eskimo Barbie and Barbie from Spain. My mother taught me to appreciate the beauty of things, the magic of the material world, which included not only marvelously crafted decorative arts, but also flowers, animals, and natural vistas. There are certain sunsets that always make me think of her. Her last will and testament, painstakingly hand-pinned on legal pad paper, instructed the recipients of her most favorite things to treat my stuff as if it was an extension of me. Imagine my horror over a lost earring that belonged to her, a beloved chipped teapot or cracked deco vase representing irreparable damage to the only physical representations of my mother that I had left. When the dress she'd made for herself and a tin of handmade sequined felt Christmas ornaments were lost in the mold and rubble of Hurricane Katrina, it was like I had lost her all over again, along with everything else. Objects came to have a strange and not always healthy significance for me. Through some kind of arcane transubstantiation, her spirit seemed to inhabit the pieces she left me. With that in mind, I present to you my mother. I didn't find this list until a few years ago, penciled into the back of a journal of hers. Things I really like. Perfume, certain brands, especially Orientals. Scented soaps and powder, rhinestone jewelry, sexy panties and bras, black and red. Cotton clothing, black suede, Mary Jane type shoes, Oriental furniture, carved stones, Art Deco, blue mirror glass, flowers, especially old roses, iris and carnations, cactus, Western stuff, nice cowboy boots and hats, books, art, architecture, cars, plants, and music. Like to read, social commentary, fine tools, Cadillacs from 1948 to 1952, lamps and light fixtures, 1940s and 1950s stuff, especially music, cars, and housewares, clothes too, jackets that look like riding habits, real cotton velvet, Baroque pearls, hotel dishes, especially Syracuse china, glass stopper perfume bottles, unusual rocks, cats, and some dogs, horses, Hank Williams, fine stringed instruments, handmade stuff, colored aluminum dishes, celluloid, Spanish anything, shoes with ankle straps, fine leather goods, opalescent glass, worry objects, glass buttons, flowered chintz, pastels, glass brick, Spanish tile, stucco. Mama, what can I know of you from the fragments you left behind? The treasures of yours I inherited, the way I stand, our odd gestures. It's kind of crazy how similar we are in our tastes and so many other things. Though it's really no surprise that what you loved, I also adore. Acorn, meat tree. I remember my mother stringing Austrian crystal necklaces in her bedroom, how hypnotized I was by their sparkle, relishing the rich colors and glitter of them. She used to sell them at a crystal shop here in town. The woman who owns that shop told me some things about her that I didn't know. Discovering these tidbits of information about my mother is like uncovering buried treasure, tiny caskets of jewels. I didn't realize they were such dear friends, the kind of friend who used to drive my mom to chemo. She told me that my mother had visions of the Virgin Mary appearing in her hospital room sometime before she died, that these visions filled her with an immense peacefulness and left the lingering smell of roses. She described my mother's way of speaking, her intensity and Texas twang, talking about architecture and the way attending university here changed her life when she was just a little hillbilly. She told me about how she carried herself, her style, her way of playing fiddle with her whole body. My mother's name was Margaret, which means pearl, but always makes me think instead of wild red roses, antique cabbage roses trailing briars. Embroidered on black velvet fading to nut brown, her name, Maggie, as she was called, does to me what the sound of a fiddle does, curving under the muscle of my heart, an ache it salves with rosin, with honey. The violin of her name is a sinewed sound that twists in my chest and plants nettles. I am made out of the same wood, carved from her mahogany, always humming her tune.